too. So
All right, 6 o'clock.
yeah,
Firing it up.
I hit it, and the eyeball is up on my screen, which means we're live on Facebook and YouTube. This is Porchcast Pottstown.
Happy Thursday.
We are your hosts, Matt Green and Amy Wolf.
Yes, there we go.
Basically,
sorry.
until we warm up, we're just talking for the people who watch it later.
We're
so
just chit-chatting.
Yeah, I put that overlay up on the screen because I figured that people who are scrolling by will know that it's Porchcast Pottstown and it's time to stop scrolling and find out what's going down in Pottstown and the surrounding communities.
Yes.
Don't forget, folks, we are news, updates, and conversation for Pottstown and the surrounding communities.
But mostly Pottstown.
Heavy emphasis on the Pottstown. But if you're a Grover or a Fiver, we got nothing against you.
We don't. We
Bring
love
it.
you. We tease you, but we love you if you're a Grover or a Fiver.
Right.
Yeah.
But the show is heavily centric on the borough of Pottstown. That's a geopolitical designation.
Yes.
Borough of Pottstown. 5 square miles. I believe that it's the largest borough in Pennsylvania. Somebody could Google that.
You mean?
Yeah,
okay.
Size-wise.
Okay, because is Norristown a borough?
I'm not sure. That's maybe somebody else should search
the
that.
Borough refers to the kind of government.
Correct.
Right?
So there's a city.
Are there other
there's
states
borough.
that have boroughs?
Yeah.
Well,
New York. New York has 5 boroughs. Queens,
duh.
Bronx. Yeah.
Right. Of
Kentucky
course.
is a commonwealth.
There's 5 commonwealths, right?
Little
trivia?
Maybe.
Little trivia?
Maybe this would give some people something to look up as they're watching the show or tuning in. Yeah.
Massachusetts is a commonwealth.
You can say anything you want because I don't know.
Virginia is a
I'm not
commonwealth.
Googling. Is it?
Yeah.
Kentucky for sure. I know
Kentucky, Pennsylvania. I think there are 5.
You think there's 5 commonwealths. Make sure that as you're logging into the show and coming on the show that you say hello. Let us know that you're out there. I can see that the chat light is lighting up. So that means that there's people on the chat. We like it when you like, subscribe, share, comment. Don't forget to hit those thumbs up buttons, the heart buttons. Hit them as often as you want.
Yes, Trinita.
Yeah.
I remember.
I mean,
Trinita
I'm literally
was bombarding us.
She was, but you know what?
Fun.
While she was doing that, more people started tuning in while she was doing that. So it does work.
Right.
We've seen it work in real time. I'm going to take the overlay off so that everyone can see Amy. I'm sure the moms want to see Amy.
My mom is here. Hi, Mom. Hi, and happy Thursday.
Thanks for tuning in.
Chris Daly is tuning in. I don't know if I know Chris, but hello.
I know Chris. Chris and I go way, way back. Okay. Chris and his brother Matt.
Oh, Matt, I recognize that name.
We've talked about Stone's Hearing Aids. Yes. Matt is one of the partners at Stone's Hearing Aids.
Of course.
Matt Daly and Chris Daly are my oldest friends. I have been friends with those 2 fellows.
They're not the oldest. They're the friends that you've been friends with the longest.
The longest, yeah.
Right.
I have been friends with those 2 fellows for 43 years.
Since you were a wee lad.
Yeah. Yep.
So what, you were like maybe 4?
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have my friend that I've had the longest, I've known since I was 1. 53 years. My friend Karen.
Yeah. That's neat, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, Chris Daly.
And Facebook is cool like that because you can stay in touch with those friends. It's very chilly outside, but I'm just looking at us on the screen and we look very toasty.
Yeah.
Have you been out hunting in this cold weather?
No. I know
it's not too cold for you.
No. We went out.
The cold doesn't keep you from hunting.
No. Because you layer up and then you're out moving around. So you got some body heat generated. But I went out with my son on the day before Christmas or 2 days before Christmas. I can't remember which one it was. It was like the 23rd or the 24th, 23rd or the 22nd. And Adam and I went out hunting. And then I went out like 1 or 2 days after that. And then I've decided to wrap it up for the season because I have some things going on at work that I want to get ahead of.
Oh, and also you were without a vehicle.
I didn't have a
For
car.
a considerable
A
amount
week.
of time. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was longer than that. But yeah.
Yeah. So I had a car that I was driving. I was driving my backup vehicle.
Right. But it might not have been a great.
I gave it to my
vehicle.
son because so he could get back and forth to work. So Dad had no car because Dad can work from home.
Right.
Son has to
Cannot.
go to the shop in order to do
It's
his
great
job.
having a kid that doesn't drive because there's no begging for a car.
Right.
I'm not insinuating that he was begging, but
No.
we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so I've wrapped up my hunting season. I believe that the 29th, this coming Saturday, is the last day of the deer season, the
Okay.
extended deer season for southeastern Pennsylvania. So guys that are still at it have a couple more days left.
Right. Just a couple.
Just a couple. There's probably some waterfowl and some small game that runs into February, and then it'll be wrapped up.
Would that be grouse and pheasant?
Yeah, I believe that the pheasant season runs till the 28th or 29th, and then there's some waterfowl stuff like ducks, geese, things of that
We
nature.
were just having a conversation before we got on air the difference between a grouse and a pheasant.
Yeah, well, the ruffed grouse is Pennsylvania's state bird. The ruffed grouse is Pennsylvania's state bird.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what the state?
The famous grouse is one of Levi's favorite scotches.
It's yes, people who like Scotch.
It's a very good blended Scotch.
Scotch. Yeah, like a mid-grade,
Reasonable.
reasonably priced.
Like if you're mixing. I mean, you could drink it on the rocks, but if you're mixing, it's a good one for mixing.
I want to say this: we're live at Pottstown United
Yes,
Brewing
please.
Company. And as we were getting started, the folks at Pottstown United Brewing Company said that they're having a special tonight. They're having $5 drafts. So their draft beers are marked down to $5 tonight. So
Special Porchcast special.
Porchcast special.
Yeah, come on down. There's
Come
a few
on
people sitting
down.
at the bar here.
William
William
Paul
Paul Barogley.
Barogley, Esquire.
Who I told him he was having an exceptional hair day today.
He's got good hair. Given a man of his age, he has good hair. I'm jealous of his hair. My hair is slowly fading away. I'm gonna put up that caption to remind people to come on down to Pottstown United
Yes,
Brewing Company
please.
tonight. Get your $5 drafts. Support Pottstown United Brewing Company. They support us so that we can support you. So you should support them.
Everybody supports everybody. There's somebody going by with her wedding dress, I'm guessing. Right?
Maybe.
Well, because Agnes Edmonds moved right over
Oh,
here.
that's right.
So it's a little wedding dress walk by. Hi, Diane Cherry Crum. Thank you for tuning in. Diane is one of my favorite Facebookers.
I
She
like
puts-
her last name, Cherry Crumb, because it makes me think about pie.
Right. But she puts a lot of interesting quotes. and
She
tidbits.
does.
Yeah.
And she's good for a good political back and
Conversation.
forth from time to time. Her and I don't always see eye to eye, but it doesn't stop us from being friends.
Got to be able to have a conversation.
That's right.
I read an interesting op-ed about this and sent it to my dad. Usually my dad is the one cutting out articles and sending them to me. So I do like occasionally to cut out an article and send it to him. But it was about the importance of being well-read and being able to have a discussion with people.
Right. A reasonable discussion.
Reasonable discussion.
With people who are discussing reasonable topics.
Yeah, and you can disagree with somebody and still have a reasonable conversation about it.
That's
And
correct.
learn from each other,
Right.
right?
Yeah. That's the relationship
A lot
I
of
have
that-
with Diane Cherry
A lot
Crumb.
of that missing today's Facebook warriors or social media warriors, right?
Just in our overall public conversations in general, that is missing from it greatly.
So we do have Bill and Deb in our
In our midst,
our gallery, in our live studio audience here.
Deb Penrod, my stepmother and assistant to the executive producer.
So I was thinking about a couple of weeks from now, we will have our nieces for the weekend. They're coming in. I'm like, what am I going to do with these two little girls? They're 13 and 8, I think is what their ages are. Well, anyway, they're horse girls. They like to ride. So I think I'm going to bring them down to Ryer's Horse Farm. to visit the horses because Deb can't shut up about how great the Great Ryers is.
And we learned that the Rotary had a really good time on that. Rotary had a really excellent trip to
Yes.
Ryers Horse, a
Yes.
field trip per
So
se.
I will.
That's a literal field trip.
It
They
is
went
to a
to
field.
the field to see horses.
I think that adults should take field trips regularly, not just on the weekend. They should take a day off from work and go on a field trip.
And do them regular.
Go to a museum.
Mm-hmm.
Go to like what Susie Kennedy does.
Susie and John Kennedy
I
do something new Wednesdays. Well, I was thinking, and I don't want to put too much on her, but it would be interesting if she could collate some, not all, but some of her trips, maybe some of the more memorable ones, because she's been to some places that I would like to go check out. That would be she could put a nice little book together, nice little travel guide.
Yeah.
If she is inclined to do it, then I would be a benefactor of that.
I can do that.
We'll even help you promote it.
We will. I think it's great. I think that when you're looking for fun things to do with your family or with your friends, you don't need to go too far afield. And we are very fortunate in southeastern Pennsylvania that we have it's not the nation's first capital, right? New York was the nation's first capital.
No.
Was it Pennsylvania? Philadelphia was? Yeah. So
and then it moved to New York.
Right. So we've got like the cradle of the birthplace.
Cradle of Liberty.
Right. The cradle of Liberty. We've got that in Philadelphia. But we also have all these really other cool places. So we've got city destinations, and then we've got a lot of really great country destinations.
Yeah.
There is hiking. There's a lot of outdoorsy stuff. There's a lot of city stuff. And then there's like small size, cool city stuff like Lancaster or Ephrata, Lidditz. Like, have you ever been to Lidditz? Cute. Super cute.
Lidditz is cool, and there's a ton of stuff to do in that little borough. It's a borough.
Yeah, it's really, really great. And it's an hour.
We went to the city of Lebanon not very long ago.
Lebanon or Lebanon?
Lebanon.
That's, I think, how you know somebody's not from Pennsylvania. They say Lebanon. Yeah.
Lebanon. We went to Lebanon and had a great time. And that's a city. That's a city of Lebanon.
Yes.
But there's
famous for their ring bologna.
Their bologna. No, that's Lebanon bologna. That's not ring bologna. Ring bologna is something else.
Totally. See, now I'm showing my non-Pennsylvania, right? Ring bologna is what? I don't even know what ring bologna is.
Ring bologna comes in the like the horseshoe shaped thing, and it's like about the same size as like a kielbasa.
Pepperoni? Okay.
Or a pepperoni. Okay. For you Italians.
Yeah. Different than a mortadella.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. Anyway.
All that Pennsylvania Dutch stuff.
So we don't have a guest tonight.
No, we don't. We're just spitballing.
We're spitballing. We're having a conversation. And if you would like to participate in the conversation, just put your comments into the chat bar and we'll put them up on the screen. We'll talk about what you want to talk about. We do have a bunch of news and updates going on. So we're going to cover that. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment during the show. Give us your thumbs up and your likes. We're kind of free-forming the conversation today because we didn't have a scheduled guest.
We're working on some things, but we have some non-responders.
Yeah, so maybe if some of our political liaisons are watching tonight, like a Lisa Vanny or a Trinita Lindsay, we need some help getting Justin Keller from the borough of Pottstown onto the show.
We can. I see lots of hearts. Is Trinita here?
Good.
I see lots of hearts happening.
Good. Make it happen.
Hi, Judy Green. Yep, she's here. But we know how we can get in touch with Justin. You got to go through the gatekeeper.
But it can't.
You got to go through Ginny.
It can't also help. It can't hurt to have a little help, a little extra grease from our borough councilors.
Sure.
So it couldn't hurt for Trinita to say, "Hey, Justin,
Porchcast is trying to get in touch with you."
Yeah.
Right.
So one of the concepts that we're working on, since we're talking about it, will enlighten everyone to what we're up to, is we're going to start working with the folks at Ion Pottstown and Evan Brandt in order to take some deeper dives or to have some deeper discussions about hot topics in the borough of Pottstown.
Yes.
And the first one that we've decided to try to tackle is the issue of trash, because that's a recurring theme.
it is very much of a recurring thing and something that is really important to people, but also important to the town. As a realtor, that curb appeal
is
is
super
really important, and trash is something that's very, very noticeable, very visible. It is something that if you're driving through a place that you've never been to before,
Yeah.
you'll notice it
You'll
right
notice
away.
it.
Right.
So we want to have a deeper dive into the trash issue. We want to try to enlighten people about some of the factors that go into trash collection in the borough
So
of Pottstown.
what we don't want
Mhm.
is a bitch fest.
No,
we want constructive, productive conversation about how the borough chooses a trash collection.
Right. The contract process.
The contract process. We want to learn about that. We want to learn about what the contracted vendor is, what their responsibilities are.
Correct.
And are they meeting those responsibilities?
Right.
And then what we can do as concerned citizens to help.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to help? How do you, how do you make your concerns known so that those concerns make their way back to the vendor? And what can we do as neighbors, and to take care of our own area?
Right. So community engagement, but I think we can aid in the community engagement if people know the different ways that they can get involved, because there's some people that might want to contribute to helping with the trash problem that might not necessarily be interested in picking up trash,
Right.
but they would be interested, let's say, in joining a committee that helps review the contract.
Right. I'd be more interested in picking
Like
up
a
trash
trash
than
committee.
sitting on another committee.
Yeah, but some people, maybe some
so
people don't
everybody's
have
got
the
their-
physical ability to go pick up trash,
Right.
but they could go to a meeting once a month or once every other month to talk about how the trash contract is going and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and why is it such an issue? Like Susie is saying, other towns don't have litter problems. Lidditz, for example, has almost no litter. So why do they have no litter? Do they have trash barrels that lock closed so they don't have to worry about, do they have a low transient population? And by transient, I mean renters that come in and out that don't have, they're not as engaged in their community because they're just short-term residents. They live here for a year and then they move on. They don't really care.
Right.
They don't care about their neighborhood. So those are the kinds of things that contribute. And how do we
address
those?
that? So that's what we're planning, and we're starting out with the trash issue. We have some other issues that we're going to dig into as well.
Right.
But between Amy and I, the folks at on Pottstown, and Evan Brandt, we decided that we would tackle this trash problem first.
Hey, did you see that Evan's going to be on 60 Minutes?
Yeah, and
it got postponed because of some
football playoffs.
Right.
So he doesn't have a date yet for when he's going to be back on, but
I'm secretly hoping that the B-roll with me and Amy in it
makes it on.
Yeah, because they did film us on 4th of July. That's when they filmed it. Was over the summer.
Right.
So a story that's a long time in the making. So Deb is talking about the fire department.
Yeah,
Thank you, Deb.
I put that. So that is yet another issue that we could potentially deep dive into. However, I will say this: we kind of have them prioritized on how often they appear on the respective platforms that we're cooperating with.
Right.
So on Pottstown is communicating. We're all in communication with each other. And on Pottstown, for instance, is saying to us, these are the top
these are the
items.
real hot buttons.
Right. Yeah. And then Amy and I are saying, these are the 3 top items that reoccur on Porchcast.
Right.
And then Evan Brandt is saying, these are the 2 or 3 top items that I continually get requests to cover in the Pottstown Mercury. We want to try to do a deeper dive into those so that we can solicit community engagement, because our Porchcast platform, as people can see, is primed for that, because we can put up people's posts, we can put up people's comments, they can interact with the people that
it's easy to have a conversation.
Right. We can interact with the people who we're interviewing and have a direct conversation and address people's concerns or gather their input live on air, just like you would if you were sitting on the porch with us.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yes. So Deb went to Rotary had their meeting last night. On the Wednesdays they meet, and they went and visited Goodwill's, I think it was, and met with Chief Hand. I think he's great. I work with him pretty closely on the fireworks show for 4th of July. Seems like a pretty good guy. Seems to know his stuff.
Yeah.
He's really easy to work with. Fireworks is between Memorial Day and Labor Day, that's a pretty hot button topic.
Sure.
Yeah, and I know Pennsylvania just changed some laws.
They
with
changed some
regard to,
rules and regulations.
Yeah.
And there's some borough ordinances that were just changed. So as we move along, those are conversations that we could have. Diane Cherry Crum is saying that she's interested in hearing more from the police department.
Yeah, Diane,
They
that
are
was really
they are
interesting.
on our list.
That article was in the paper a couple of weeks ago or a month ago about the training, I don't even know what you want to call it, like cultural sensitivity, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like some mambo jambo, but it was basically like if you're going to police a community, you have to understand where that community is coming from.
No, and
right?
I would say
different perspectives of the challenges that certain groups have and what they're facing and how they view the police in general.
correct.
And how that, if you understand that and understand where segments of the community are coming from and how they've been raised and what they've grown up thinking and feeling, then it will help you to better interact with those folks, those citizens.
And listen, as a 15-year veteran of law enforcement, one of the continued observations that I made from the beginning of my career to the end was that primarily police officers are recruited from middle class white neighborhoods and white culture, right?
Yep.
And some of these kids.
I mean, they're 18, 19, 20 years old.
19
They're
years
kids.
old when they start the
Frontal
academy.
lobes even.
Right. You can be a police officer in some areas as early as 19.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking these kids, middle class, suburban white kids who have gone to middle class, suburban white schools, who went to middle class, suburban white colleges.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting them through training, which includes the use of deadly force. So identifying someone who is a threat to you and potentially killing that person, right? And then we're throwing these people who have never had or have a limited
into a community
urban,
like Pottstown.
Correct. With
right,
black
you said
people,
that you were
Hispanic
in the academy
people.
with people that had never. That you were the first black person they ever met.
When I was a park ranger, because we obviously that career path has a tendency to attract more rural people, right? No, I worked with some federal law enforcement officers, some park rangers, who I was literally one of the first minorities that they had ever had any kind of in-depth interaction with other than casual interaction.
Right.
And that means that maybe the black guy worked at the counter at the local deli.
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something
or maybe
like
it was a brown person, behind the counter at the 7-Eleven.
Right.
That was it. That was the extent of their interaction.
Extent of their interaction.
Right.
So it's not just a problem here in Pottstown.
Mm-hmm.
It is across the board in America. And before anybody jumps on it and says, this is firsthand experience. Mm-hmm. I've witnessed this, and it's a problem.
Right.
So
you
I
got to understand the community that you're in.
Correct.
That you're policing.
Correct.
And also you want to engage the citizens to help you. There's certainly a distrust of law enforcement
in certain communities. Absolutely.
And there's a no snitch culture. That's a big problem that the police are up against
across the board in pop culture.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we're up against. And if you truly want to police the community, you have to be able to interact with it, right? If you want to do community-oriented policing, you have to know how to interact with the community that you're serving.
Right.
That's important stuff.
All right.
Otherwise,
get Markovich on the show.
we're going to work on that. He's Diane and everybody else who's listening.
Yeah.
Police and crime issues were
really,
one of the top 3 issues that we're working on.
Yeah, I think he's really seems to be really pretty engaged or want to be engaged. with the community. I know you've worked with him.
It's just a matter of trying to get them on.
Deb's throwing up all sorts of ideas.
Yeah, and again, some of these are great ideas, but on these deeper dives or these continued conversations, these series of conversations that we're going to have, we really are focusing on issues that are reoccurring to Porchcast Pottstown, Ion Pottstown, and the Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how often dementia conversations kick off on Ion Pottstown. I doubt that it occurs very often.
Right.
It's a great topic of conversation, and maybe outside of what we're going to do on some of these deep dives, we can tackle that. But specifically, we're trying to bring people up to speed on our series, what we're calling series of community conversations.
I am going to segue into. We have a couple of pieces of merch left, if anybody's interested. Remember when we used to sell T-shirts? Well, we do have some T-shirts left. I've got 2 T-shirts, Porchcast T-shirts that are large, size large. If anybody's interested in a T-shirt, Matt, I can't remember how much these are. $20?
They're $20.
Right. So we have
5 of those $20 will go to a charity cause.
So we've got 2 T-shirts left. If anyone's interested in a size large Porchcast T-shirt,
there's a handful of hats, maybe.
I have 1 hat.
I think
That's
I have.
all I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have a couple of hats. There's stickers and there's
this is the best,
bumper
man.
sticker.
This is like
magnets.
the warmest hat.
No, they're good.
Right?
They're good.
I would definitely be seen in the woods.
I bought one and I use it for hunting.
I wore it a lot last year.
Yeah. We
would go hiking in the wintertime. Your head will be sweating for sure. And then we do have. Should give magnets or a sticker to our guests that we have.
Yeah,
magnets and stickers.
I'm gonna give some stickers out to, for instance, William Paul Brogley, who's been traveling around lately.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody does travel to other places and wants to throw some stickers up on a sticker board someplace,
he's always sticking his nice stuff.
Hit me up.
Right?
I'll give you some stickers so that we can start advertising Porchcast Pottstown.
And then we've got the magnets, which you can stick on your car.
Right.
If your car is metal.
They go on your car. They go on your refrigerator. Yeah, wherever you want to.
I just stuck
put
a sticker on my laptop.
I see it on your laptop.
Susie Kennedy, reckless driving in town. That is a very good topic.
So
that is a great topic because it is definitely an issue. The loud revving motors at 3:00 in the morning. I love those. Deb, it's not Johnny Cochran. It's not the head of the NAACP. It's Johnny Corson.
Corson. CORSON.
Johnny Cochran was the O.J. Simpson trial.
Defense attorney. He died.
Right.
Corson. Johnny Corson.
Thank you anyway. But yes, he would be a great guest. They're doing the NAACP chapter is pretty active here in town. But getting back to Susie, I do think that reckless driving is a hot button topic. It certainly gets a lot of traction on Ion Pottstown, and it certainly is dangerous and
deadly.
Yeah.
So we could incorporate parts of that topic into our discussion when we sit down with the police department.
Sure. I know they have addressed it in certain ways as much as they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so just so everybody knows, the top 2 themes which we're working on immediately are trash and crime.
Yep.
So trash and crime, which covers the police department, are the first 2 deep dive conversations that we're going to have. The third one is still kind of being debated a little bit. We might get
we gotta get our trash people to agree to come on the show. That's going to be a 2-part series. I
would say this too. We've talked about a lot of other good ideas and other people that might want to come on the show. If you want to see somebody on the show, let us know. If you think somebody would be a good guest, please let us know. If you think you would be a good guest, call us up, send us an email. We'll get you on the air.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, we've had a long list of guests now, and every single one of them, with maybe a couple of exceptions, has come on the show because they asked.
Because they asked. Yeah. I was telling Matt before we got on air, I was recognized this week. I felt like I finally made it. I was at yoga class and somebody recognized me from the show.
That's awesome.
That felt good. Yeah.
Diane Cherry Crumb said she just got her settlement for her total car.
That was that a hit and run or
yeah,
that was
or whatever, an
yeah.
accident or something. My dad got his settlement from his total car.
Yeah, the Dugans have had a couple of cars that have been hit while they've been parked.
The Canes.
Yeah. Our block in particular, like Walnut in Hanover,
for
is
some
rough.
reason
that
it's
is
Walnut. People come out.
I mean,
of
you
that
grew up right there. How many car crashes have you seen at Walnut in Hanover?
a lot,
A lot.
and it's Walnut and Hanover.
Yeah.
The same thing doesn't happen at Chestnut and Hanover for whatever reason. There's something about the conditions at Walnut and Hanover that leads to more accidents.
Yeah.
I don't know what
it is either. It's something about maybe with the curve in the hill as people are coming up and they can't see it. I don't know, but I have definitely called 911 at least 10 times.
Yeah.
Since I've lived here.
Jamie Sanchez is saying that Pottstown Community Action is working on the Love Your Block project. We're not quite ready to come on yet, but we will. And I think that Love Your Block project is an easy tie-in for some of the trash issues.
Yeah, for sure.
And how people can get involved.
We can include that in the...
Absolutely. Yeah. So as we get these people related to the trash topic booked, that will determine the series of conversations that we have.
Right.
I'm thinking right now it would probably be 2 or 3 conversations on the topic of trash.
Definitely.
So PCA, keep us posted and we'll get you in on that conversation.
Well, I love my block. So Jamie, I got to talk to you about that. Susie says she pulls out at Beach now because it's too dangerous to pull out at Walnut. And I agree. I do most of the time as well. Although my car is super fast now. I can pull out really fast.
Yeah, because you have an electric vehicle. There's
so
no
fast.
rev up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so zippy. It's really,
Patrick Green, my son, was going down to the Speedway, Maple Grove, to see the drag races. And he said those electric cars are just blowing they've had to create their own category.
Yeah. Well, it's not fair. It's like it's apples and to oranges if you put it with a combustion
those
car.
Teslas are just blowing everybody off the track.
I mean, I don't think my car is quite as fast as a Tesla, but it's pretty fast.
It's zippy. Yeah.
I love it. I'm really, really happy with it. Yeah. So, okay. Love your block. It's going to inspire people. Can't wait. All right, Tamara. I do love my block. So I don't know what the program is, but I'm in.
Right. And we'll help you get the word out here on Porchcast Pottstown. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Let's get into some. I think we've covered where we're heading with the show fairly well.
But we can talk. I don't know, Matt. We can just talk about nothing.
Well, it's important stuff. I say we get into news and events.
Sure.
And there's some Porchcast news, and then there's some local news, and there's some local events, and that will obviously spur on the conversation.
All right, Joe Rasevich. I do not drag race down the alley.
You have an SUV, so you could.
So a pretty important part of when I went shopping to pick out my car, of course, you have to take your coffee cup and your water bottle with you when you buy a new car. Like, does my coffee cup fit in the cup holder? Does my water bottle fit?
Yes.
So I took both of those things with me.
And they did?
They did. But also, I am always lugging stuff around. Like you're always lugging hunting and fishing stuff around.
Yeah, and the equipment.
And equipment, I'm always lugging go forth stuff.
Merch.
I've got T-shirts and calendars and merch and tables and chairs and all sorts of stuff.
Not the fireworks, though. You don't have to lug the fireworks. Somebody else does
lug
that.
The fireworks. No, I do not. I do not. So, okay. I do have a couple of things written down first before I go to my printing here. You posted up a photo ID clinic.
Yes, that's going to be occurring in Norristown.
Not to get political, but there's a lot of, I would say, attempts at suppressing voter.
100%.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, there are, and I'm just going to say it for what it is. I'm not choosing sides in this conversation. I'm stating a fact.
Yeah.
There are Republican operatives who have been recorded saying that is their tactic to suppress the vote.
Right.
It's on record
Right.
that they've said that this is what they're trying to do.
So one of the biggest obstacles to voting, of course, is appropriate
Identification.
ID. So if you know somebody that does not have appropriate ID, and that I don't know what even counts as an ID, a driver's license, a passport card, a real ID.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be difficult to obtain those things. So there is a photo ID clinic. It is going to be on February 12th from 10 to noon. At 530 Church Street in Norristown. It is sponsored by a church. I didn't write down the name of the church.
Yeah, it's a Hispanic
It's a
group.
Hispanic church, yeah. So they will help you attain photo ID or a birth certificate or a social security card, voter registration card, etc. You need to bring any personal ID and proof of residence. So do you have a, thanks, Leo.
A bill. It could be a credit card bill, an electric bill, anything that's come to your house
a medical
through the
bill.
mail.
Everyone got a medical bill.
Sure.
Right? So any sort of personal ID or a proof of residence, or even if you don't have those things, go to the clinic anyway
And find out what
find
you
out
need
what
to
you
get.
need or how to get those things. So I think it can be really people are kind of stymied when they don't have the appropriate ID. They don't even know where to start.
Right.
So they will help you. They will help you. So that
And I will
is
say,
530 Church Street on February 12th from 10 to noon.
if you want more information about it, just go to my wall on Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate. I posted up the flyer. I found that through Luis Petrillo, who is a local attorney, and she does some work with the Public Defender's Office. I think the Public Defender's Office is in some way, shape, or form tied into
Maybe
that
like
program.
co-sponsor or something.
Listen, folks, I do understand that it's in Norristown and it's difficult for people to get to Norristown. I understand that. However, I am putting out the information as I find it.
Right.
If you can get yourself to Norristown on that date and time, please go. I know that there's some people locally that are trying to put together something for maybe here in Pottstown.
That'd be great.
So this is another.
That would be a job for like the CCLU, Rita Piaz's
or the
organization,
NAACP.
or the NAACP. Yeah.
So if you have maybe the Rotary could
telling you,
get involved
voting
with something like that.
is every time I vote, I feel really almost overwhelmed,
Right.
because it's civic duty, but it's a responsibility, but it's also a privilege. And every time I vote, I feel really very empowered. So let's get as many people as we can registered. Trinita says it's her goal to get people in Pottstown registered to vote. Yes, my friend, let's do it. We mentioned that Deb and the Rotary were at Goodwill Fire meeting with Chief Han the other day. The fire department is in desperate need of volunteers. If you know any young folks that are interested in firefighting, Matt, I know your son has been involved at Phillies for many years.
Since he was 13.
Right. And some other folks in the neighborhood, the Dugans, have 2 kids, I think, that are involved in firefighting. So my friend Stacy, her son is involved. Great way to get young people involved in a civic activity.
Yeah.
It's important stuff. Yeah.
The reason that my son got involved in it was because he's a hands-on learner.
Right.
And he wanted to get involved in the trades.
Yep.
He started when he was 13, so he wasn't in high school yet. He was in middle school. And it was a way for him to get a jump start on some of his vocational training, because through the fire department, he learned how to use certain tools, learned how to maintain certain tools, obviously learned how to take care of the trucks and the equipment and everything else, all hands-on stuff. And it got him ready and prepared when he went to the high school to transition into that CTE or to that VOTEC program.
Very impressive.
Super impressive.
You know, no barbs against my kid, but you don't want Harrison Wolf running into the building.
No, but he has some others. He has some other skills, and Harrison Wolf's uncle was on Goodwill ambulance crew for quite a while.
His uncle Nate, my brother-in-law, very involved with Goodwill, and was an EMT and firefighter. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, props, Nate, if you're watching. Matt, you did want to mention a trivia winner.
Yeah, so let's get into that. We'll Before we get too much into other news, we'll tackle the Porchcast Pottstown news. There was a trivia that we did on the Shopping Local Christmas special.
Yeah, back in early December.
Give that episode a rewatch. I think there's a lot of valid local shopping that you could do any time of year. Obviously, we geared it towards Christmas, but a lot
Certainly
of great
Valentine's Day is coming up.
anytime we gave you literally hundreds of different ideas of how you could shop and support local business on that episode. But during that episode, we had a trivia. There was 3 questions related to Christmas on that trivia. The winner of that trivia was Jeanette Himes Beadham. Jeanette, she won the $20 gift card to Pottstown United Brewing Company. I will make sure that she is aware that she's the winner, and
Great.
she will be able to come down here to Pub and pick up her gift card while they're open.
Nice. And that was trivia we had about, it was shopping. What Town Toy was one
Town
of the,
Toy
yeah.
was one of
I
the
can't remember what
answers.
the other
The
questions were.
location of the Santa house was
Right.
at Penn Street
Yes.
and Penn and High,
Yep.
and there was another one.
I don't remember.
I don't know. But anyway,
Well,
if you go back
congratulations, Jeanette.
and watch, Jeanette won that. So
She's very nice. I met her in person when I delivered her calendar.
she is also one of the adoptees of Hobart's Run Trash Can
Oh, excellent.
Trash
Excellent.
can.
I know
So-
that Hobart's Run is looking for some more
Adoptees.
Are they looking for sponsors?
Adopters. Both.
Yeah.
They're looking for people to sponsor the cans and also people to adopt the cans.
Right.
So if you sponsor the can, you're paying for it. If you
And
adopt the can,
and your logo or your name goes on the front of it. And if
absolutely
you adopt it, you are responsible for emptying it,
taking out
and-
the trash.
and caring for it. Right.
So that's one way that people can become directly involved in tackling the trash problem. That's one way. So Jeanette won. I'll have the gift card down for her. Now, another thing that we talked about extensively, and I'm still talking about this, and I'm going to put the caption up on the screen. Subscribing at YouTube. If you want to go back and watch these older episodes of Porchcast Pottstown, the best place to do that is on YouTube. Search Porchcast Pottstown on YouTube. The channel will come back up. All of the episodes that we have been recording to YouTube live on that channel. I also copied.
But if you want the really, really old ones, you got to go back.
There is a handful of really
Okay.
old ones that I did put
Cat
up there.
Bacon. Did you put Cat Bacon
I
up
did
there?
put Cat Bacon up there. So you can find some of the really old ones up there. I did upload those to the YouTube channel. And then there's a lot of past episodes with the different interviews we've done with our neighbors and businesses, the Pottstown shopping guide, et cetera, et cetera. YouTube's the best platform to watch those past
It's
episodes of
definitely easier
Porchcast
to
Pottstown.
kind of
Super
scroll
easier
through and
to
search around.
navigate. Yeah. So subscribe at YouTube. It's 100% free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the bell icon, and then you will be notified when new episodes are available
Right.
on Porchcast Pottstown. The other thing that will happen to you if you subscribe to the channel is as you're watching YouTube in your library or suggested videos, guess what will start to appear? Porchcast Pottstown episodes. And you can watch them along with your other YouTube watching. Here's the point of my story. We asked for 100 subscribers.
We
We
did.
got 100 subscribers.
We had to beg and plead for it, but we got there.
It happened. Now we're up to 122 subscribers. Please keep subscribing. The more, the better. But our 100th subscriber was
Da-da-da-da.
Judy Roma Owens. Judy Roma Owens is my old biology and environmental science teacher from St. Pius X High School.
Nice.
Judy
I love
lives
it.
in Pottstown over in the numbered streets. She's a Porchtonian. She's a contributor to society here in Pottstown. She was the 100th subscriber. I have a gift
I
package
love that.
for
Do you know
her.
how much I love that? That's your biology teacher
Yeah.
from what? From high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I had her in 10th grade and then again my senior year of high school.
I love it. I love. A lot of people wouldn't like small town America, But I love that part about small town America.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that
great.
that your high school biology teacher was our 100th
Was
subscriber.
100th subscriber. So I have a little gift pack for Judy Owens. I will reach out to her on the side and let her know.
Is it
But
going
thanks
to
for
include
subscribing.
a magnet and a
She has that stuff already.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what it has. It has some beer from Sly Fox Brewing Company.
Nice.
It has a gift certificate to High Street Billiards,
Mhm.
who Vance Jaffe and High Street Billiards has been a sponsor
Big
and a
supporter.
supporter. And then
Watches the show when he's not flitting about the country
even
somewhere.
when he is, he's watched the show from the deck of his boat in Florida.
Bastard.
And it has a gift certificate to Pottstown United Brewing
Very
Company in
nice.
it. So she'll win a little night
Wonderful.
on the town here in Pottstown.
She lives
Thanks
here
for
in town?
subscribing. Yeah, she lives in
Excellent.
the numbered streets.
Excellent.
So thank you for Judy Roma Owens for
Excellent.
joining, subscribing on YouTube and being a 100 subscriber. That should tell you that maybe once we start hitting some round numbers, that there might be other gifts. So if we hit 150,
Right.
if we hit 200,
If we hit 200, I will eat my hat. I will eat my hat with the feather in it that you gave me.
there you go.
All
So
right.
subscribe over at YouTube. That's what we're getting at.
All right. So I do have some other events coming up. There's not a lot going on in town right now in the middle of winter.
There's enough to keep you busy, though.
Yes. Hey, Josh, how was your workshop last night? Let us know how it went. Eager to hear about it. Joe Rusevich. So Shrek the Musical is coming up Saturday, February 26th. If you've never seen one